My friends, tonight I want you to hear with the inner ear and feel with the inner heart a truth that may seem unbelievable to the natural mind, but is eternal and changeless in the realm of spirit. That truth is this: no one you love has free will against the power of your love. Your chosen partner, the one you call your special person, is already bound to you by the invisible threads of imagination. They may seem to act in opposition, they may appear distant, they may speak words that contradict your desire. But in the unseen dimension where all things are formed, they are already yours, already responding, already obeying the law of love that moves through you. The world you behold with your physical senses is only the shadow of imagination. It is the after effect, the echo, the reflection of what has already been accepted as true within you. And because this is so, you cannot be defied in the invisible by any person, no matter how strong their will seems to be in the visible. For your inner act of assuming their love, their devotion, their oneness with you is not a plea, not a request, but a creative decree. It is not begging them to love you, it is declaring that they already do. Consider this: if all things are states of consciousness, and you are free to enter any state at will, then when you enter the state of being loved by your chosen one, that state itself contains within it all the circumstances, all the behaviors of that person which correspond to it. They cannot resist, for their outer actions must mirror your inner assumption. You are not bending their will. You are not manipulating another. You are recognizing that there is only one being in this drama of life, and that being is your own wonderful imagination. What you accept as true of another, you call forth from them. What you persist in feeling about them, they must externalize. When you look at your SP and say, "They don't love me," you are speaking only of the shadow world. You are giving life to an illusion that has no root in the eternal. For love is not a thing to be earned, nor a force to be won by struggle. Love is a state of being, and when you embody it, the one you choose cannot escape it. The river does not ask the stone for permission to flow around it. It simply flows, and the stone must take the shape the river demands. In the same way, when you dwell in the end of being loved, cherished, adored, your SP has no choice but to conform. Do not be deceived by appearances. If today they say, "I do not want you," hear only the inner voice that replies, "But you are mine, for I have claimed you in consciousness." If they walk away, know that they are walking only through the stage set of an old belief you once held. For as soon as you revise your inner world, the play must change. They cannot play a role that you no longer assign to them. They may seem to resist for a season, but it is only the momentum of past assumptions. The moment you persist in a new state, the old one must die. And what is this new state? It is the knowing, not the hoping, not the wishing, but the knowing that your love is irresistible, that your love is the only reality, that within the secret chambers of imagination, you and your SP are already united, already bound together in harmony. And as you return again and again to this inner knowing, you will discover that the outer must bow. It is law, and it cannot fail. Ask yourself, who is your SP? Is it not simply the embodiment of your own assumption? The mirror reflecting back to you the beliefs you hold about being loved. Then why quarrel with the mirror? Change the face you wear within, and the mirror will obey. If you assume rejection, the mirror shows rejection. If you assume devotion, the mirror shows devotion. They have no free will to project anything other than what you have impressed upon the deep mind. I say to you, Cease seeing them as another with power to deny you. They have no such power. The only power is within you. If you wait for them to change of themselves, you wait in vain. For the outer man moves only as the inner man directs. If you would see them transformed, you must first transform the image you hold of them. If you would hear them confess love, you must first hear it in imagination. If you would feel their arms around you, you must first feel it in the unseen. Do this faithfully, and soon you will discover that what you enacted within has clothed itself in flesh and blood without. Do not think this is coercion. Do not think this is a battle of wills. For you are not changing another against their will, you are awakening the truth that already is. For in the eternal, your SP already loves you, already delights in you, already belongs to you. Time and space are but veils upon this fact. When you persist in love, you dissolve the veil, and what was unseen becomes visible. They cannot resist, for it is their truth as much as it is yours. Perhaps you ask, but what of their free will? Do they not have the right to choose? And I tell you, in the outer play, it seems so. But in the inner realm there is only one will, and that is your own wonderful imagination. What they choose outwardly is but the echo of what you have chosen inwardly. There is no conflict, for when you choose love, you are choosing the highest state for both of you. You are not imposing bondage, you are revealing union. You are not enslaving them, you are liberating them into their truest expression. For love is the natural state, and all rejection is but illusion. When you sit quietly and imagine your SP gazing at you with devotion, do not wonder how or when it will happen. Do not measure with the clock or the calendar. Know only that what you have seen within must appear without. The fig tree does not blossom overnight, yet its fruit is certain. So it is with your assumption. It grows unseen until suddenly it bursts forth and surprises you. You will stand one day in the very scene you once imagined, and you will smile, for you will remember that you called it forth. And when doubts arise, as they surely will, do not fight them. Simply return to the end. Hear again the words of love spoken by your SP in imagination. Feel again the embrace. Rest again in the certainty that your love is irresistible. For it is not willpower that secures the promise, it is persistence in assumption. The outer will cannot defy the inner for long. Like clay in the hands of the potter, your SP must take the shape of your belief. The world calls this impossible. The world says you cannot control another. But I say to you, you are not controlling another. You are controlling self. And when self is controlled, the whole world must bend. For the outer is only the reflection of the inner. There is no other. If you hold fast to this, you will discover that no one has free will to deny your love, for your love is the law that governs them. Think back in your own life. Have you not seen how others have responded unconsciously to the feelings you carried about them? When you expected kindness, they gave kindness. When you feared rejection, they rejected. Was it not always your inner state that called forth their behavior? Then why doubt now? Your SP is no exception. They cannot act outside the script you write for them in imagination. So tonight, write the script of love. See them as yours. Hear them as yours. Feel them as yours. And refuse to entertain the lie of separation. For separation is a dream, but union is reality. Hold to this dream of union until it solidifies into fact. Speak not of what they say or do today. Speak only of what you know to be true in imagination. For imagination is the seed, and life is the harvest. The day will come when you will stand face to face with your SP. and they will declare with their lips what you long ago heard in the silence of your heart. And in that moment, you will know that they never had free will to deny you. You will know that your love is the power that moved all things into place. You will know that you are the operant power, and that nothing in the outer could resist the decree of your inner world. So, I urge you, cease from begging, cease from waiting, cease from despair. Enter now the joy of being loved. Live now as though it were already true. And you will discover that it is true, that it has always been true, that your SP has never had free will against your love. For love is God, and God is imagination, and imagination creates reality. Therefore, claim your desire boldly. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Know that no other can oppose it, for there is no other. And as you walk in this knowing, the whole world will rearrange itself to reflect your love. You will find yourself pursued, adored, cherished, for you dare to believe that your SP has no free will against your love. And when you have proven this in your own experience, let no one dissuade you. Hold fast to the truth and teach it by your life. For the world is waiting for those who know that imagination rules all. The world is waiting for those who will no longer be victims of appearances, but creators of reality. Be that creator, my friends, live from the end. Rest in love, and know with all certainty that your SP is yours, eternally yours, and cannot escape the embrace of your love. You must understand that what you call is never separate from you. The self you see outside is only the outpicturing of your inner conversation. When you say, "But they are stubborn, they refuse me, they avoid me," you are really speaking of the picture you hold in imagination. That picture, held firmly, repeats itself as circumstance. Do not condemn the reflection. Do not say the mirror is cruel. Instead, ask yourself what image you are placing before it. Change the image within, and the reflection has no choice but to change. Your SP cannot help but answer the command of your inner vision. If in imagination you see them running away, they will run. If in imagination you see them kneeling before you with love, they must kneel. This is the unbreakable law. It has nothing to do with their supposed free will, for what is free will but the outer mask of inner compulsion. Men believe they act independently, but they act only as the inner assumptions dictate. And if you persist in your assumption, you will discover that the mask of opposition falls away, and their true self is revealed. One with you, devoted to you, in perfect harmony with you. Do not entertain for 1 second the idea that your love is weak. Love is the greatest force in existence. Love is not a sentiment, not a flicker of emotion that comes and goes. Love is the recognition of unity. It is the declaration that I and my beloved are one. And because you are one, they cannot resist you. To resist you would be to resist themselves, and this is impossible. For deep within, they are the very image you hold of them. And when you hold the image of love, they must conform, for they are love in expression. Have you ever noticed how quickly people respond to the way you secretly think of them? A stranger on the street will treat you as friendly if you inwardly assume friendliness. A colleague at work will show hostility if you secretly expect hostility. And your SP, the one most entangled in your heart, is far more sensitive than all others to your assumptions. They may not know why they suddenly think of you, why they suddenly desire you, why they cannot forget you. But you will know, for you planted the seed. They are moved as though by invisible strings, yet those strings are your own inner conversations, your own unspoken decrees. Think not for a moment that distance can sever this law. They could be across the sea, yet if you dwell in the end of being loved, the distance collapses. For imagination knows nothing of miles or time. Imagination creates instantly, and then the shadow of the world slowly conforms. They may dream of you. They may wake with sudden longing. They may find themselves compelled to reach out. Yet all this began not in them, but in you. They are responding to the vibration you sent forth when you assume they are already yours. So if you ask, but what if they resist? What if they do not want me? I tell you, such resistance is a ghost. It has no reality except in your continued belief in it. If you drop it, if you accept only the state of being desired and cherished, the ghost dissolves. Do not nourish it with fear. Do not feed it with doubt. Turn away from it and feed instead the vision of your union. Soon enough, the so-called resistance will vanish like smoke, and the truth will stand revealed, that your love has always been the stronger, the truer, the only power. It is not arrogance to say your SP has no free will against your love. It is simply the acknowledgement that all are one in consciousness, and that your assumption rules your world. The outer drama of choice and decision is but a play, a mask worn by the deeper self, and that deeper self is not divided from you. When you decree within that they are yours, the deeper self hears, and the mask obeys. Therefore, speak not as a beggar, but as a creator. Do not wait for their text, their call, their visit before you rejoice. Rejoice now, because within you the union is complete. Live as though the end were already fact, for in imagination it is. When you carry yourself as one already loved, the world bends to reflect it. People around you will treat you as cherished, and your SP will be swept along by the tide, compelled to act the part you have scripted. You are not stealing their freedom. You are giving them the highest gift, the gift of being seen in love. For when you imagine your SP as yours, you are not forcing them into a falsehood. You are awakening their true self, the self that longs to love and be loved. They will feel it as relief, as joy, as inevitable surrender. They will think, I could not help but love you, not knowing that it was your assumption that made it so. The world may say, but what if they choose another? What if they walk a different path? I say to you, every path they walk is but the outpicturing of a state you once entertained. Withdraw your attention from the false path, and it must fade. Direct your attention to the path of love, and it must appear. There is no path they can walk that is independent of your inner decree. They walk where you place them. They speak what you make them speak. They feel what you make them feel. By the power of imagination. Do not think this requires effort or strain. The law works in rest, not in struggle. You do not wrestle them into loving you. You simply rest in the end of being loved. You do not push, you do not force. You simply allow. The river of assumption flows quietly, yet it carves mountains, it shapes valleys, it moves the earth. Your SP is swept along by its current, and they cannot resist. For love is not a small trickle. It is an ocean, and all must yield to its tide. When you sit at night upon your bed and close your eyes, do not review the day with sorrow. Instead, create the night with joy. See them beside you. Feel the warmth of their hand in yours. Hear their laughter, their voice calling your name with tenderness. Let this be the reality you dwell upon, and the day to come must echo it. For the night imagination is the womb of the day. What you conceive there will be born in time. They cannot escape it, for they are the child of your conception. If you would test this, take a small act. Imagine your SP sending you a message of affection. Do it vividly, as though it were now. Feel the thrill of seeing their words. Rejoice in it as though it were done. Release it and go about your day. Soon you will see the shadow appear, the message or something like it arriving. Then you will know that larger things, too, must obey the same law. If they cannot resist a message, how can they resist your union? They cannot. For it is one law, and it cannot fail. When you feel anxious about the outer scene, remember that the outer is only the delayed photograph of your inner film. The projector is within you. Change the film, and the picture must change. Do not stare at the screen and cry because the scene displeases you. Return instead to the projector. Load a new reel, one of love, of union, of devotion. And when the light shines again, the screen must show what you have placed within. Your SP cannot perform any act that is not first played in your imagination. Some will tell you that people are unpredictable, that they may never change, that you must accept rejection as final. But ask yourself, what is change except a shift in state? And if all states are already existing, waiting only for occupancy, then your SP is already existing in the state of loving you, of choosing you, of desiring you. You do not need to create it. You need only to occupy it. Step into that reality in imagination and live there. The state contains its own sequence of events, and your SP will be carried into it without knowing why. They will act, they will speak, they will feel according to the script of that state. When you say, they have free will to deny me, you are placing them outside the law. You are declaring them an exception. But there are no exceptions. The law is universal, immutable. As within, so without. As you assume, so they become. To grant them the power to resist your love is to surrender your dominion. Refuse to surrender. Stand firm in your knowing. Say to yourself, they cannot resist me, for I am love, and love compels all. If you look with eyes of fear, you will see obstacles. But if you look with eyes of love, you will see only inevitability. Love is not something fragile that can be overpowered by circumstance. Love is the power itself that shapes circumstance. Your SP may seem to be occupied, distracted, even hardened. But beneath that appearance is the deeper self, always listening, always responding to what you decree within. Speak to that deeper self with certainty. Whisper to them in imagination, you are mine. You love me completely. You cannot resist me. And they will echo it in time. This whisper is not a cry to the void. It is a command to the only reality there is. It is planting a seed in the fertile soil of consciousness. And the seed knows how to grow. You need not dig it up to check. You need not demand when the blossom appears. You need only water it with persistence, shine upon it with faith, and rest knowing it is already done. And as the seed grows unseen, your SP will be moved by urges they cannot explain. They will dream of you, they will long for you, they will be compelled to seek you. For the seed you planted has taken root, and its fruit is certain. You may wonder, but how long must I persist? And I answer, until the inner scene feels more real than the outer, until the joy of being loved outweighs the fear of rejection, until you no longer check for evidence, but rest in certainty. Then the outer must catch up, and it often does so in the most natural, effortless ways. Your SP may seem to wake up one morning with a new mind. They may call you as though compelled. They may suddenly change their language, their actions, their feelings. Do not be surprised. It is the law fulfilling itself. Remember always the outer self of your SP is but a puppet. The strings are held by the inner self, and the inner self is not divided from you. When you pull the strings with love, the puppet must dance in harmony with your desire. They cannot resist, for the strings are invisible, unbreakable, and woven from the fabric of imagination itself. Even if today you hear words of rejection, take them lightly. Say within, that was the old state, already passing away. Refuse to dwell on them, for words are but echoes of yesterday's assumption. Change today's assumption, and tomorrow's words will be different. If they once said, I don't love you, tomorrow they may say, I cannot stop thinking of you. It is not they who change themselves, it is you who change the inner decree. Many shrink from this truth because they fear its power. They fear that to accept their dominion in imagination is to take responsibility for all things. And indeed, it is so. But this responsibility is your glory, not your burden. For if you are the one with power, then nothing can ever be denied you. Your SP cannot be lost, cannot be stolen, cannot be beyond reach. They are yours, eternally yours, for you have claimed them in imagination. So when you walk in the day, walk as one already chosen. Let every gesture, every word, every thought flow from the certainty of being loved. Do not wait for proof, be the proof. Do not wait for their love to arrive. Radiate their love as though it were already here. The world will respond, and your SP most of all. They will see in your eyes the reflection of a truth they cannot escape. They will feel in your presence the pull of inevitability. They will surrender not because you forced them, but because love is the most natural state, and you embodied it first. And as you practice this daily, you will discover that you no longer ask if, but only when. And then even when dissolves, because you live in the timeless now where it is already so. Your SP is already yours. Their so-called free will was never a barrier, it was a shadow. The light of love dissolves all shadows. And as you shine, the shadow world must reflect your radiance. You may have noticed that when you hold someone in your heart with resentment, they seem to mirror it perfectly. Even if they never knew your thoughts, somehow their behavior takes on the very quality of your hidden attitude. This shows you that no one is independent of your assumption. If the secret feeling of dislike can call forth discord, how much more can the secret feeling of love call forth devotion? Your SP, more than any other, is entangled in the net of your consciousness. The moment you change your feeling toward them, they begin to alter their actions, though they themselves do not know why. Every thought you persist in is a command. Every inner scene you dwell upon is an order written on the deep mind. Your SP must carry it out, because there is no separation in consciousness. Do not see them as a stranger with an alien will. See them as the pictured fragment of yourself, returning to you exactly what you have impressed. When you change the inner impression, you change them, for they are nothing but that impression in flesh. If you walk about feeling unwanted, you will find them confirming it. If you rest in the sense of being adored, they will echo it with words and deeds. This is not speculation but law. They cannot resist, for resistance itself is only the persistence of an old assumption. As soon as you withdraw energy from that state, it dissolves. The new state takes its place, and they are compelled to conform. Imagine your SP waking in the morning with you on their mind. Imagine them moved by an urge they cannot explain to reach out, to call, to confess their feelings. This is no fantasy. This is the real cause of events. They will act on impulses they believe are their own, but you will know that the seed was planted in imagination. Their will is not opposed to you, Their will is the very outflow of your decree. Do not ask, what if they are with another? For the other is but the shadow of an old state. Shadows pass when light shines, and your love is the light. When you assume yourself as chosen, the rival disappears. They may drift away, or they may remain, but lose all power. For the deeper law has decreed that your SP loves you alone. Do not wage war with appearances. Wage only the good fight of faith. Faith in your imagination as the only reality. Some say, but is it not selfish to decide another's fate? And I answer, what fate is more natural than love? Are you condemning them to misery, or are you calling them into joy? To be loved and to love is the highest fulfillment. You are not robbing them of freedom. You are freeing them from illusion. For in truth, there is no separation, and to love you is to love themselves. When you dwell in this awareness, fear drops away. You cease to wonder if they will ever come. You know they must. Just as the seed knows how to become the tree, your assumption knows how to externalize itself. It does not require your help in the outer. It requires only your persistence in the inner. And as you persist, the law operates with mechanical certainty. They must play the role you have assigned, and they will do so with joy. Do not treat imagination as a weak thing, a daydream with no power. It is the one substance of reality. Everything you now see, the room you sit in, the body you wear, the relationships you know, were once imaginal acts, hardened into fact. Your SP is no different. Their behavior today is only the hardened imaginal acts of yesterday. Change the act today, and tomorrow the fact must follow. They cannot resist because there is no power to resist imagination. When doubt whispers, but they have their own mind, answer silently, their mind is my mind, for there is only one mind. When fear says, they will never change, answer, they have already changed, for in imagination I see it. When despair says, answer, nothing is hopeless in imagination, and imagination is reality. Speak this way inwardly, not once, but as a rhythm of being, and soon the doubts grow silent, and only certainty remains. The certainty itself is the sign. When you no longer strain, when you no longer search, when you walk as though it were already done, you have entered the state. And the state compels the world to echo it. Your SP will echo it most clearly, because they are the focal point of your love. They will be drawn like a magnet, unable to resist the pull, for the magnet is your inner conviction. Even if years have passed, even if words have been harsh, even if doors have been closed, do not count these things. They belong to the shadow. The substance is your imagination, and imagination knows no barriers. The years dissolve, the words are forgotten, the doors open of themselves when you persist in love. Time itself bends to the decree of imagination. What seemed long delayed suddenly arrives in a moment, and you marvel at how quickly the world rearranges. So when you close your eyes tonight, do not dwell on separation. Dwell only on union. See your SP's face lit with affection. Hear their voice declaring what you already know within. Feel their presence beside you. Let this be your true dwelling place. Visit it so often that it becomes more natural than the outer world. And then the outer must follow, for it is only the shadow of your dwelling place. You will notice that the more you assume your SP's love, the more signs will begin to show around you. It may be in a song you hear, a phrase spoken by a stranger, a sudden coincidence that seems too exact to be random. These are not chance occurrences, they are echoes of your assumption, faint ripples announcing the coming tide. Do not cling to them or demand more of them. Simply recognize them as reminders that the law is working, that your inner decree is already crystallizing into fact. Your SP, though they may appear stubborn in the outer world, is inwardly pliant clay. They may protest, they may delay, they may even seem to oppose you. Yet the deeper current of love is flowing, and they cannot stand against it. What they call their decisions are only the surface ripples of a river too deep to be resisted. If you hold to your vision, they must be swept along. Their outer actions will catch up to the inner law, for nothing can oppose imagination. The mind of your SP is not a fortress against you. It is an open field awaiting your sowing. Whatever seeds you cast upon it in imagination will sprout, whether of rejection or devotion. Therefore guard your sowing. Refuse to plant fear, for fear grows quickly. Plant only the seeds of love, the seeds of union, the feelings of joy. Then the harvest must be in harmony with the seed. Your SP will act as though love were their idea, their decision, their deepest truth. Yet you will know that the harvest came from your planting. Some will say, "But what if I imagine wrongly?" And I answer, you cannot. For the imaginal act you persist in will always outpicture itself. If you see rejection, you are not wrong. You are simply planting weeds. If you see love, you are not wrong. You are planting roses. The law does not punish or reward, it reflects. So do not fear error. Simply change the picture. Weed the garden and plant anew. Persist in the garden you desire, and soon it must bloom. When you walk into a room, your SP feels the atmosphere you carry, whether they admit it or not. If you radiate certainty of being loved, they sense it and respond in kind. If you radiate need or doubt, they feel that too and act accordingly. This shows you that they are not acting from an independent will, but from the vibration you set. Their behavior is the mirror of your inner state. Change the state, and the mirror must change. At times you may be tempted to check the outer world for proof. You may look at their messages, their actions, their social presence, and ask, "But where is my evidence?" Resist this temptation, for the outer is always lagging. It is a photograph of what you believed yesterday. To demand present evidence is to look backward, not forward. Instead, rest in the unseen evidence, the vivid scene you hold within, the joy you feel in imagination. This is the true evidence, and it will harden into fact in due time. Consider that your SP is even now being moved by currents invisible to them. They may be restless without knowing why. They may think of you at odd hours. They may dream of you or feel a longing they cannot explain. All of this is the effect of your imaginal decree. They are being drawn like iron to the magnet, compelled by a force they cannot name. To them it will feel like their own free choice, but to you it is the law fulfilling itself. Do not be surprised if circumstances shuffle in unexpected ways. Old ties may dissolve, new opportunities may arise, paths may open that seemed impossible before. This is the world rearranging itself to bring your SP into alignment with your assumption. Trust the process. Do not interfere with worry or doubt. The same law that brought the first sign will carry the work to completion. You need only persist. When you hear of others struggling with love, remember that the struggle comes from believing in two powers: the power of imagination and the power of outer resistance. But there is only one power. The outer has no life of its own. Your SP has no will apart from what you decree within. To believe otherwise is to live in illusion. And when you drop the illusion, you drop the struggle. As you persist in this truth, you will find a calmness rising within. You no longer chase, you no longer plead, you no longer doubt. You simply know. And this knowing itself draws your SP, for nothing is more magnetic than certainty. They feel it in your presence, in your words, in your silence. It is irresistible, for it is the natural flow of love. Every day becomes an opportunity to rehearse the end. In quiet moments, you close your eyes and see them beside you. In conversation, you hear their voice speaking words of devotion. In the stillness of the night, you feel their warmth near you. This inner rehearsal is not wasted. It is the true creation, and the outer world is but its shadow. Your SP, whether they know it or not, is already playing the part you have written. And as you continue, you may notice that the desire itself begins to feel lighter. It is no longer a craving but a knowing. You cease to wonder if or when, for you are already living in the end. This is the secret. The outer must bow to the inner. Your SP has no choice but to match the state you persist in. The more you embody this truth, the more you recognize that every interaction is simply a reflection of the self you are assuming. If you assume yourself to be unloved, then every glance, every silence, every delay will confirm it. But when you assume yourself to be adored, cherished, pursued, then even the smallest details will testify to that truth. A casual smile, a message at the right time, a coincidence in conversation. These all become threads woven into the fabric of your fulfilled desire. And as you see them, your faith grows, your certainty deepens, and your world bends further in your favor. Your SP cannot escape this pull, for it is not an outer force, but an inner reality pressing outward. They will believe it to be their own desire, their own conclusion, their own awakening. But you will know it was planted long before in the soil of imagination. What they call free will is only the echo of your assumption. They are simply playing the role assigned by your vision. Some may argue that love must be mutual, that it cannot be compelled. But understand what compulsion truly is. You are not forcing another with chains or commands. You are compelling by assumption, and assumption is love itself. For to love is to imagine the best for the other, to see them united with you in joy. This is not violence. It is the natural order of spirit. When you assume their love, you are not denying their freedom, but revealing their true self. For at their core, they are one with you, and love is the bond that cannot be broken. Even if your SP resists in the outer, even if they push away or turn aside, you need not fear. Their resistance is only surface wind, unable to alter the current beneath. The tide is deeper than they know, and it moves them steadily toward you. Your task is not to wrestle with appearances, but to abide in the unseen, to rest in the end as though it were already accomplished. The more you rest, the sooner the tide brings them home. And notice how the world itself conspires to affirm your vision. Friends may mention their name, opportunities may place you in proximity, circumstances may unfold that make the meeting inevitable. This is not accident. This is the law at work. The universe itself bends around your assumption, rearranging all to make the union sure. The outer mind may call it coincidence, but you will know it as certainty. You must remember always that your SP has no independent will in matters of your love. They may believe they are choosing, but in truth they are yielding. Yielding to the vibration you sustain, yielding to the story you tell within. Their choices, their movements, their affections are all colored by the state you hold. To change their response, change your state. To deepen their love, deepen your assumption. The outer is powerless to resist the inner. Think of a dream you have had. In the dream, every character seemed alive, independent, acting of their own accord. Yet upon waking, you knew they were only outpicturings of your own mind. So too in this waking dream, your SP appears independent, speaking words, making choices, following desires. But when you awaken to imagination, you see that they too are projections of your inner world. They move according to your decree, even while believing they move by their own. When this truth becomes your living reality, the struggle ends. You cease to beg or chase, for you realize you are the author. You no longer fear rejection, for rejection cannot exist in the story you refuse to write. You no longer doubt their devotion, for devotion is the only script you hold. You become calm, certain, magnetic. And in this calm, your SP cannot resist, for they are caught in the current of your assurance. Every time you choose to dwell in the end, you are tightening the invisible bond. Every time you refuse to waver, you are drawing them closer. Every time you see yourself as loved, you are compelling them to see you the same. This is not effort, it is ease. For imagination requires no struggle. You close your eyes, you feel it real, and you rest in the joy of completion. The rest unfolds without strain. Your SP may come in unexpected ways. They may return suddenly, or gradually grow in affection, or surprise you with words you long to hear. However it unfolds, you will know it was always certain. For once assumed, the end cannot fail. The world must bow to imagination. The outer must reflect the inner. And your SP, with all their seeming will, must yield to the decree of love. So let the world speak of free will. Let others tell you that love is chance, or that hearts cannot be moved. You now know the deeper law, that imagination holds the reins, that love is the command, and that your SP is powerless against the vision you sustain. There is no struggle, no begging, no chasing. There is only the certainty that what you assume within must clothe itself without. Your SP is not separate from you. They are one with you, and they must mirror the state you persist in. Therefore, persist only in love, in union, in joy. Refuse to grant power to appearances, for appearances are fleeting shadows. Hold firm to the end, and the end must bloom into fact. Your love is the law, your assumption the decree, and your SP has no choice but to yield to the power of the vision you carry. Walk as though it is done, and it will be done. For nothing and no one can resist the force of your imagined love.